Hey there, how you guys doing? So we are going to graph the sine function. I would like to graph this particular sine equation, but before I do that, I want us to take a look at the parent graph, so to speak. What does the sine of x, when we graph it, look like? Now remember, when you're graphing a trig function, you're unwrapping the unit circle based upon that trig function. So let me kind of put down what the unit circle looks like. Remember our typical angles, right? That would be very helpful for us to remember where they're located. And at each angle is a point. Now, when you graph the unit circle, and since it's a unit circle, that means the radius is equal to 1. So this is the point 1, 0. And then up here, yeah, we don't go left or right, but we go up 1. And out here, we just go to the right, to the left 1. Don't go up or down. And then, yeah, you've got it. You know what you're doing. And then back. Good? Okay. So let's look at what the sine of x looks like when we unwrap it based upon the unit circle. We have 4 quadrants, so that means we have 4 intervals. The angles at each of these are the typical angles from the unit circle. And now I am asking myself, what would the sine of 0 be? 0 radians, the sine at 0 radians. Remember, the sine is talking about the y value. So the y value at 0 radians is 0. At pi over 2, the y value is 1. At pi, the y value is 0. At 3 pi over 2, the y value is negative 1. And then back to 2 pi, it's 0. So when you connect the dots, you have what I call the mountain to the valley graph. And remember, this is basically a stamp. This is one rotation around the circle. I can make a stamp out of this and go 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and it'll just keep going like this. And backwards as well, all right? Notice, if you remember when we graphed the cosine, I mentioned the amplitude, which is the number in front of the trig function, tells you what the range is going to be. Well, that's a 1 in front of that. And without us identifying it, you can tell from the graph that the range is from a negative 1 to a positive 1, and it coincides with the amplitude, which is a 1. Good? Okay. So this is what the parent graph looks like for sine. I'm making certain you know what it looks like because now I want to really graph this sine function over here. And this has got a 2 in front of it. That's fine. That's not a problem. So remember, we graph trig functions in this, finding the characteristics in the same order every time. Because the first characteristic you are going to identify is the amplitude, which in this case is a 2. Remember, amplitude dictates the range. So in this case, my range is going to be, good, negative 2 to positive 2. And the other question you ask when you're finding the amplitude is you ask yourself if this thing is going to flip. Like, how do I know if it flips? Remember the parabola? X squared? How did we know when the parabola actually went upside down? How do we know when it flipped over? There was a negative in front of the x squared, wasn't there? Well, same scenario here. What sign is in front of this amplitude? It's a positive, which means it's not going to flip, and the graph is going to be the mountain to the valley graph. That's the graph we're going to get. Cool? Okay. Then I would say let's graph, but I want you to get used to making that chart that I showed you with the cosine functions. So the chart, what are you plugging in for your x? You are plugging in 0 and then pi over 2 and pi and 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. And the first thing you're doing to that x is you're taking the sine of it. So sine at 0 radians. Remember, that's the y-coordinate. That's 0. Pi over 2, what's the sine at pi over 2? Good, 1, because that's the y-coordinate. At pi, 0 again, because that's the y value. At 3 pi over 2, negative 1. It's the y value. Back to 2 pi, 0. Excellent. And then according to your equation, after you plug in the x and you take the sine of it, what do you do next? You multiply by 2. So you can multiply by 2 as well as I can. Yeah, 0, 2, 0, negative 2, 0. Loving it. And last but not least, you identify the point. All right, so what did we plug in? 0. What did we get out? 0. So be it. The second point, we plugged in pi over 2. We came out with 2. The third one, plugged in pi, came out with 0. The fourth one, plugged in 3 pi over 2, came out with negative 2. And last but not least, we plugged in 2 pi and we got, 0. All right, guys, let me erase this very quickly, at least the graph, and let's see what the graph of this sine function looks like. So the angles are already here. The typical angles we're plugging in, 4 quadrants, except now it goes from negative 2 to positive 2 on the range. And so let's plot our points and see what we get. So the first point was 0, 0. The next point is pi over 2 and 2. The third point is pi and 0. 3 pi over 2 and negative 2. And then 2 pi and 0. So it is the typical sine graph, isn't it? Mountain to the valley, except it got, that's right, stretched by a factor of 2. That's what the amplitude does. It stretches the graph by whatever. Or it could compress it. Maybe it's a 1/2 in front of it. Anyway, does this make sense? You're like, it's the same as cosine. It is the same as cosine, except clearly the values for sine and cosine are going to be different. That's the only difference between graphing the sine and the cosine graphs. Everything else is basically the same. Good? Okay, I have some examples coming your way. You work on them before you go find my answer key video. Catch you on the flip side.